What's up, everybody? This is Mark from Solo Games, and today I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a little secret. It's not really a secret. It's been out there for a while, but let's talk about collector's edition stuff. Okay, so if you have been basically not checking out what the prices are for certain things recently, I have some bad news for you. So, if you guys remember, one of the most successful Commander products that Wizard of the Coast has ever released, Warhammer 40K, by the way, not even their own IP. It's insane, by the way. I don't understand how Wizard of the Coast can't release their own IP, but releasing somebody else's IP is actually just honestly just infinitely better than them. So, it tells you a little bit about what kind of company is, what kind of like brand loyalty and interest people have in Wizard of the Coast versus something else. Anywho, the Warhammer 40K decks were so popular, so good. They sold through, I think, three reprints. Okay, there was 3 different reprints for the sets of decks, and they all sold through. There was a 4th reprint recently, and we all thought, hey, 4th reprint, right? It's just gonna be for the normal decks. But guess what? The collector's editions got reprinted. Now, look, do I have a definitive proof that they reprinted the collector's edition? No, of course not. There's no serialized cards. There's nothing that like it's inside the decks. I'm like 100% sure. But I can tell you right now, they reprinted the 4th. They reprinted the collector's editions, okay? I'm not sure if they did it in the other times before, but they definitely did it this time. And here's why. If you go to TCG Player, go to eBay, go to anywhere else, go to different stores, you'll suddenly realize, this thing that was released last year in November, super hyped, the price went crazy high. Suddenly, all the stores that were sold out for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months have supply of the collector's edition again. And the price is not like $1,000, $1,200, right? Whatever $200 per deck type of pricing is. Instead, it's around $590, so $600. Now, is that expensive? Absolutely. Is that still collector's edition pricing? Absolutely. However, that is also very close, if not basically at MSRP. So what happened? A lot of you guys don't deal with distribution. You don't see what I see, so I'm just going to let you know what happened. Well, every single time they do the reprints, I notice it because distributors will say, hey, we have this new product again, or we have this product again, back in stock, Mark. Get your shit now, back in stock. Get it today. We're going to be out of stock. Like, they would often do this thing where I know that the Wizard of the Coast is printing small batch because, a lot of times you go to the website for distribution, whatever, and they're like, oh, we only have a couple left, limited quantity, limited stock, whatever. I don't actually know how many they have, but if you order more than their limited quantity or whatever, they usually don't let you, order more than that. Because partially, I think it's actually restricted number, and they know stores really want this thing, and they don't want one store to kind of like basically buy out the entire inventory, making sure no other store can get it. So they want every store to get a little bit. Of course, if they're still left over, the second time they do the sale, they're going to either have other stores order again, same quantity, or just say, hey, order whatever you want, right? If there's a lot. Well, that's been true for the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd reprints, but the 4th reprint that just happened this past, I don't know, 2 weeks or so, that's about the time that it took for all the decks to get to the distribution, suddenly had a special item on distribution list. The collector's boosters back in stock. Huh, what do you know? Suddenly, they now have collector's boosters, and they said, oh, limit 1 per store. To me, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, okay, bullshit. You're telling me this thing that's been out of stock, everyone's been asking for more, all the stores have been asking for more, no distribution had it, is suddenly back in stock, readily available. Sure, it's limited 1 per store, but let me be honest with you. That doesn't mean shit. You can order 1, next week you can order another. Basically, 1 per order, essentially, okay? And if you have some relationship with stores or distribution, you have relationships with whatever, you can order more than 1, okay? And the price is all flexible too. This is another thing that a lot of people don't understand. Distribution pricing is very flexible. It's business, and business is all about people and relationship. And if you have a good relationship, you get a better price. If you've been buying a lot of product, you get a better price. You probably also would be offered things first before other people even get offered things. So there's that. That's actually one of the reasons why Rudy gets so much products at such a good price from distribution because he's always dishing out tons of money for them. So these guys know if we need, to like sell a bunch of inventory, we go to Rudy. And so of course they're going to give him a good price for it because, there's a long-term business relationship that you have with Rudy. You don't want, to piss off your biggest buyer, right? Basically, it's like imagine you're running a video game and you have whales. You don't want to piss off your whales. That doesn't make any sense. Your whales are your money makers, okay? Nothing's different for distribution. Nothing's different for anything else. Same for Wizard of the Coast as well, okay? So let me explain a little bit more of what I believe happened here. So you know about Wizard's RMA program, right? And I recently went through the RMA program because, well, it actually took like 4 or 5 months for the whole friggin' Tyranid deck issue. So if you didn't know, the Tyranid decks in that first print wave had some issues where I think a good chunk of the boxes, sealed boxes that were sent to the US had a Portuguese Tyranid deck in it instead. How I found out was originally I was selling these, full cases, and I didn't even open them because I was like, well, it's a full case of 4 decks, so I shipped it that way. And somebody opened it and was like, hey, how come my Tyranid deck is in Portuguese? I'm like, holy crap, what happened here? And it was more than one buyer telling me this. So of course, you take this deck, you send it to Wizards RMA program, and they, at some point later ship you back like another Tyranid deck to replace what you got, right? My decks went through some crazy issues. Like they had to delay this, it couldn't ship this, whatever. Just basically a bunch of issues that they ran into. And finally, I got my decks, right? Except the deck I got was like, I don't know if I still have it. Maybe I still have it. Somewhere around here, hopefully. Is that it? No, this one maybe? I think I opened it. Did I open it? Yeah, I did open it. Okay, so I got my deck, but it was like, all they shipped me was just the deck. So it was so I already opened it, so it's too late, just because I had to check it, right? So Wizard of the Coast was like, oh, what did you get? And the reason they had me check it is because they said, we only ship decks like this, without the boxes, without everything else, if, without the actual official, the sealed packaging, if it was a collector's edition. I was like, what so I guess they were sending RMAs for the collector's edition too, because obviously, probably the collector's edition had some issues too, right? Obviously, damages, loss, whatever. But the crazy part is I felt like maybe what they were hinting at me was that they actually sent me the wrong deck, but I looked at it, I was like, no, it's the right deck. It's not the, of course it's confusing, right? So you got the collector's edition, and the only way you can tell is by that surge foil. Let me see if I can pull a surge foil something here for you. Here. Here's a good example. So this is a surge foil. So it's like this. I don't know if this shows up on, wow, that's actually like reflecting. I hope that's not like blinding people on the YouTube, but it's a special foiling. Okay, it just looks a little bit different. It's cool, but is it that cool? I'm not sure. Okay, anyways, apparently they were shipping some surge foil, so the collector's edition, whatever, replacements, whatever, and I guess some people who were supposed to get RMAs for normal got them instead. I wasn't lucky enough to get that, but some people did, I guess. And so, of course, I had to open this thing and show them, it's normal set, not foil or anything like that, for them to go and ship me the entire actual boxes and everything that came along with it. So the actual packaging, which, by the way, they didn't. They actually just shipped me the box instead, and then maybe gave me a life wheel or something. It wasn't even the full packaging. So basically at that point, I was like, whatever, don't worry about it. I'm just going to open it, sell the singles, not a big deal. I really just want to have the box set so I can sell the full, kit. But it had been so long. I think it took Wizard of the Coast, man, 6-7 months to get all those replaced. So part of what I was thinking is, I wonder if they were, so this story has a meaning. I wonder if they were basically seeing that there were a lot of RMAs for collector's editions, and they couldn't really meet the RMA because it's a collector's edition, right? I'm sure they printed some extras just in case some issues happen. They can do replacements. But man, I'm assuming, or I'm thinking now, potentially those collector's editions, they decided to go send them through another print run, right? And the reason is because they wanted originally to do some RMA stuff. But of course they printed too many of replacement products, and replacement products really shouldn't go to shelf anymore. Again, remember, collector's edition is always supposed to be a one-run product, not a multi-run product. And so at this point, if you buy any collector's edition booster boxes, whatever, stuff like this, right, they better have serialized cards, because if they don't have serialized cards, There is no guarantee that Wizard of the Coast won't run a second run. And this is the thing. Like, I actually suspect that Neon Dynasty actually got a second print run of Collector's Edition. I suspect Dominator Remaster. Dominator Remaster. I don't know about that one. Okay, we'll see. Dominator United, right? And all these other sets, like basically anything that's not serialized, doesn't have serialized cards, could definitely go through a second print run. And maybe that explains to us what happened with all the price crashes. Like Modern Horizons 2 had this issue. The Double Master 2022, right? The collector's edition has some issues. Like suddenly the price crashed. Why? Is it just because it's toxic asset? Did they print too much in the beginning? Or was it because they actually had a second print run and there was just extra stock that they really couldn't get rid of? I don't know. But I can tell you right now, based on the numbers, based on what I'm seeing on TCG Player, this thing has never dropped below like $800 for months and months and months. Suddenly, many sellers, and you'll see right now, if you go to TCG Player, look up the collector's edition of the 40K decks, you're going to see many sellers with 1, 2, 3 sets that they're selling. And that's not because they're trying to like test the market and have like circuit breakers, whatever. They literally only have one. And it's the one that they order from distribution. They got it, and now they can kind of convert that for a little bit of cash. Okay. It's insane that Wizards of the Coast has now printed collector's editions. And so, I don't know what any collector out there, investor out there is going to do. But for me, I'm not buying any collector's edition booster boxes unless it has serialized cards. Because they've shown their hand. They're just going to reprint collector's edition. And it's pretty obvious what happened here. This is not a restock from distribution. This is not distributors all hoarding this product and suddenly having more of it. This is obviously Wizards of the Coast printing. I don't have any proof to prove this, okay? Every evidence I have is whatever. Okay, you know what I mean. But what do you need? You need Mark Rosewater to get on a podcast, tell you that, hey, we reprinted the collector's editions? Like, what proof? There's no way any Wizard of the Coast employee is going to come out and say it. But let's be honest. Look at the evidence. Circumstantial evidence, right? Look at the evidence. Suddenly, all distribution just have one case of 4 decks for every single store that wants to order one. And of course, you have a relationship with more than one distribution. Guess what you can do? Order one from each. Now you can have 3, 4, 5 sets of this collector's edition that in the beginning, nobody could even get their hands on like 2 as a store, right? From one distributor. It was so limited stock-wise. It was supposed to be a very limited print run thing, and now suddenly readily available. Wizard of the Coast will reprint anything. Dude, if they could, they will reprint your mom, okay? Stop trusting these guys. And this is why I don't like modern cards. People always ask me, like, Mark, why do you offer almost no money for modern cards? This is why. I mean, think about it. Like, if you had a whatever deck, you have these cards, and this is where you're putting your money into, how do you feel right now? Feel like somebody's punching you in the face, right? Look, the thing is, I had one collector's edition. I put it on the shelf. Actually, I bought that one from Amazon. I couldn't even get one from distribution. I bought one from Amazon. I just did it early because I'm a big Warhammer fan. I'm a Warhammer nerd, right? Whatever. So I put that on the shelf. That's it. That's it. But now all the prices are crashing. I don't really care, honestly. I just have one. I'm going to keep it anyways. I'm probably never going to sell that thing. But it's just such a funny thing now that we're in this situation where suddenly collector's editions are appearing 10 months from original release and in, I would say, fairly good quantities. Expect the price to crash a little bit more. Honestly, if you haven't gotten one of the collector's edition for the Warhammer decks, the decks are solid, and if you like Warhammer, if you like the art, if you like that surge foil treatment, go ahead and order it. I will say, however, though, there's some problems. Number one is these foils also bend. Just be ready for that. They don't bend left to right, but they do bend top to bottom. And the second problem is the tokens are only foiled on one side. Don't ask me why. Blame Wizard. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I don't understand why they didn't print the tokens foiled on both sides. I know it takes another printing sheet, but man, if you're charging $200 per deck, print another sheet. This is not that hard. I know it's expensive to print another printing sheet. Yes, then don't charge that kind of pricing. You're charging for a premium product and you don't even deliver premium products. Dude, I'm done, guys. They're hide your kids, hide your wife. They're reprinting everything out there. Stay classy.